Okay, so I'm sure you guys will probably let me know in the comments, like the quality of the video, because the way the sun is coming into my car and the time of day and all that is that it kind of looks like it's a little bit maybe too bright. I'm not sure. I mean, the screen is kind of smudged up, because of touch screen and all that. But I keep tapping my fingers and swiping and all that on the phone. But anyways, second video of the day. Saw that I got new subscribers, so welcome to my channel. Hopefully, with what content I do make with my vlogs, hopefully, I'm making some quality stuff that I put out there, and it's at the very least interesting, or if not that, then at least helpful. But I'm making this vlog because I'm sort of I feel like I'm not just literally sitting, but sitting at a crossroads, and one of those sort of states of mind. Because I have a number of I don't know if I'd say recent events, but just like sort of the state of affairs. For one thing, there's been this sort of obsession of mine with trying to lose weight and actually get in good shape, and I've been really struggling with that. I obviously haven't been working out. That's probably an aspect of it, but I'm kind of with the mindset that it's really all about like a caloric deficit, and I tried to create that with this diet. I don't know, like, if I were to think back, like, back when I first was having success with this about like a year ago, and I wonder what was the sort of key difference, what really caused the major weight loss, because I lost about 15 to 20 pounds in about a month, and I've been struggling to do that. Since then. And there's also just the whole need to work out. I have like a dip bar that I could set up, and I really need to get around to setting up and starting to exercise, but even as I speak about this stuff, I wonder if that's really it, because obviously, yeah, I want to get in shape, I want to lose weight, I want to have that aspect of things sorted out, I want to get the money situation sorted out. I'm working on stuff, I've talked about this like ad nauseum at this point about my certifications that I'm going for, coding with Python, and working my way down this list of programming languages and that sort of thing. Like, I'm working on that. I mean, I just got through the setup or installation lecture finally. Got really sidelined because of the stuff I talked about in my last video, with yet more pointless, wasteful family drama, stuff that in truth I don't care about it, but with the people involved, or particularly the one person who instigates everything, like, she really knows how to push buttons and get in people's faces and do all that kind of stuff to cause the sort of reaction that occurs. And I get a lot of like her complaints about things with the folks, with the parents, because I've had similar problems with them. I think sort of the question, or the statement rather, that there has to be something more to life, or is there something more to life than this? Remains in my head, or gets sort of generated by that, and it's sort of like where I'm at in life. It feels very much like I'm just hunkering down, and I'm sort of trying to build a path out of where I'm at, you know? Whether that's with my efforts in the academic realm, or it's the certifications, or it's the financial paying off debt thing, or now it's, me talking about working out and diet and that sort of thing, my struggles in all these areas. It's like I'm only in this spot because I have to be, and it's like I'm trying to optimize the circumstances of my life such that I can get to where I'm trying to get as fast as possible. And maybe what I'm feeling is impatience. Maybe what I'm feeling is, bewilderment. Maybe what I'm feeling is, or experiencing is like sort of a question of what is it going to take, and what should I actually do? Because, like for instance, to use the exercise example, my I wouldn't call it research, but from my reading, my own experience and such, it seems like I would need some sort of activity. Let's say swimming. Swimming was sort of the go-to. That is so energy intensive in terms of like how much you burn. Just let's say the equivalent of an hour of swimming versus an hour of running. Such that I would just end up burning off enough fat that I would, get slimmed down to that point where I, like the classic, I can see my, see my abs, see that six pack. And then of course, obviously diet, being sort of the, the thing that would grease the wheels, and make it that much more easier. But there's like logistics and costs involved to being able to go swimming, to being able to go and do all that. And there's other sorts of challenges, I guess you could say. Maybe it's more like in my head, like a mental challenge to get myself to go do things. But I think also a lot of it is sort of like, maybe it's like we're literally where I'm physically at. Not because of the politics or even the culture, but just like what this place means to me, Like I'm sitting in my car in a back street in the south side of the city, about a block and a half away from my house. And, I remember times from the past, parking my car here, walking to my house, to my car, going from my car, walking past my house to get to class. The people I'd see, the people I was dealing with, what was going on at that time. And it's almost like I kind of feel like I would need a new environment to actually be able to grow in. And that's not going to mean going back to my parents' house. As much as that would be useful to them or useful to my sister, that's not where I'm wanting to go. I wanted someplace completely new where I can feel like I get like a fresh beginning or fresh start. And as time goes on, it seems like to accomplish a lot of the things that I want to accomplish, it's kind of like having to have complete control over my environment. Like if I had my own place where I could cook my own food, I would have that much more control over what is actually going into the food and then going into like my digestive system, and from there to the rest of my body, and therefore what kind of nutrients am I getting, and that sort of deal. I could probably make the kind of food that is very tasty but also very healthy. And I wonder if like for the time being, like maybe I need to sort of try out some different foods. You know, like I've gotten refried beans with pretty much every meal I've had from this one Mexican restaurant for these low carb meals. Maybe the refried beans is the thing that's holding up my weight loss. Um, maybe I'm forgetting. Okay, what kind of beans did I have way back when I was having all that weight loss? Was it black beans? Was that the trick? That sort of a deal. Maybe I need to try that sort of stuff out. But again, I'm kind of like, there's the sun, and you know what? Let's see if I can't. Yeah, there we go. That's a little bit better. Sorry, but they were there for the time being. I'll have to do stuff like that. But again, like so much of, I feel like I'm kind of in a very pressurized situation right now, and it's sort of about like running the gauntlet and getting the heck out of this sort of spot in life, and getting to a place in life where I can do the things that they get me where I need to get, and so it's like getting to that point. It's like, okay, what I gotta do now to get to that spot. And I mean, like, for instance, with my sort of state of mind or my mindset right now, like if we were to talk about working out or physical fitness, I've used the example of swimming. Swimming is probably one of those few examples of like a physical activity that can both be seen as a sport and as also just something for exercise. But if we talk about running or just weightlifting or calisthenics or so, like I could probably do that to a certain extent, and I will have to. But I think my ideal situation for that would be like, being engaged in some sort of sport where I'm getting that sort of a workout, but it's not the point of the activity. Like if you're fighting with if you're fighting with swords, if you're especially like the HEMA or historical European martial arts, and you're having to lug those heavy like two-handers or Zweihandas, it's like you're naturally developing muscle. Like I even know, like when I would fence consistently, I mean, I literally, you compare like your sword arm with your non-sword arm, and it's like you're obviously like you're getting musculature in your sword arm. It's like you got the T-Rex arm, and then you got your muscular arm, which is your sword arm. You're constantly, having to fire those muscles, and then you're of course facing resistance from the other person's blade. You have to, it's like pushing back and forth, that sort of a deal, and you get into shape that way, not to just get into shape to look good, but because you need the strength. And oh, by the way, as a side effect, hey, guess what? You got, you lost 30 pounds, and you got some musculature there, and I almost want that sort of thing, because I think one of the biggest sort of roadblocks to me of motivating myself to go and do anything really has been, and something I've struggled with, is sort of that desire or that need or that want for validation from other people, while at the same time realizing that that's not only very limiting, but it's just not fun. It's not fun, doing XYZ because you think it's gonna get you the girl, that one girl. Oh, you think it's gonna get you her? You're doing it for those reasons. I mean, even if you get her, it still just kind of sucks in retrospect. And it's very easy to get caught up in that sort of stuff. I've had those experiences even recently, where it's been like, okay, I want to do this, that, or the other because I think it's gonna, or say this, that, or the other because I think it's gonna like make this girl like me or whatever the heck. But it doesn't feel that great, and it's very limiting. And it doesn't even have to be just like getting with some girl. It can be like making friends or being the popular kid or whatever. And it's like, you limit your aspirations through determining the value of your aspirations or what your aspirations should be based off of what somebody else thinks is cool or good versus bad, or good versus evil. It's like you're limiting yourself. You're limiting your trajectory based off of their vision or lack of a vision, And most people most people don't really have a vision or have some sort of understanding of a greater future. They're just kind of going from moment to moment, day to day, week to week, month to month, maybe even year to year. And if you don't want to be one of those folks, it's like you got to have something yourself. And I think it makes it a heck of a lot more fun and more effective if you got something that's beyond all that. Like I like the example of fencing because it's not so rooted in mundane reality and mundane life as, I don't know, just working out to look good. So you look better naked, or you can get laid or whatever. Or even just this idea of working out for the sake of good health. It's like, yeah, I want good health and I want to, look better and et cetera, but I want something greater than that. I want like a greater purpose or, that sort of thing. Like and you have, and this is something that I remember from one of my old friends back in the day. We're not friends anymore. That's a whole other story. I don't want to go into it, but this guy was in the Marines, and I say the Marines, I'm obviously referring to the United States Marines, and you kind of see when he was in the Marines from the, I wasn't in contact with him when he was in the service, but you could tell from the photos and so on of when he was in the Marines versus afterwards. It was this sort of night and day difference. And beyond the PTSD and some of that nature, a lot of it boiled down to the fact that it was sort of being in the military gave his life purpose, and by giving it purpose, it gave it value. It's kind of the mundane things of life, whether or not you had your room cleaned and organized, whether or not you had showered that day, shaved that day, brushed your teeth, gone and done your runs, up and down the, around the running track, up and down the field or whatever. How many push-ups you've done, how many pull-ups, etc., crunches, whatever. And they had a purpose. They had a purpose and a value, And you were striving for that, striving to be your best for this greater purpose of, I'm defending the nation, that I love, my homeland, the nation of my forefathers, my homeland, my nation, my country, for God and country. It was very much like that sort of thing. And I kind of feel I kind of perceive I'm looking at things from that kind of angle of the sort of greater purpose, that needs to be there. And you can find bits and pieces of that in different activities, different things you could be doing in life. And sort of I'm looking for those pieces, but I'm also looking for the greater overarching purpose, which I think you refer to that in Thelema as your true will. And I'm wanting that, and I'm trying to pursue that. And I have to sort of perhaps see a bit of that true will in all these things that I'm trying to do. This is sort of how this is leading me towards that. And as such, I also have to become impervious to the manipulating effects of external events and external forces or people or so. Because I think that's one of the most damaging things out there, is just like to have that sort of stuff come along and sort of, you know, lead you off the path or force you off it. And it's dangerous because you can wake up years in the future, not really realize how you got to where you got, you know, and that those things could be PMO, those things could be family influences, it could be some girl, it could be having the wrong group of friends, so to speak, getting involved with the wrong crowd, whatever that is. And it's sort of like you got to be vigilant towards that, you know. Yeah, you know, possibly one of the reasons why I'm also thinking this sort of state of mind. It's not just stuff that's happened to me, but I think it was Alex's latest video. I may leave some comments on his video, but if you guys, you know, want to head over to, I think it's under his name actually, Alex Ehlers. He comments on this channel a lot. Might want to head over there and check that out. Show the guy some support. He's going through a tough time right now, and I'll probably have to watch the. I think that person's tire just went out. Yeah, sorry, car went by and they had a blown out tire. But I think I see like a lot of myself in what I watched of that video. I'll have to watch the rest of it, but man, it's tough what he's going through, and it's tough what a lot of us, you know, go through. A lot of, because, you know, I'm talking as someone who, you know, this channel, like I do Nofap vlogs, but as such, you know, I'm talking to crowds predominantly other dudes, you know. And so when I say, you know, a lot of us guys in our 20s or 30s, it's like, it's really tough what we go through. And you know, it's this struggle to basically build yourself into someone greater than what you are right now, and overcome all these flaws and shortcomings, and, you know, the setbacks and the circumstances into which you've been born or grown up in, or, you know, currently live in a world that, by and large, it's not that they necessarily hate you because you're a guy. They just don't care. And maybe if you're lucky, you go out, you know, into the world and you either find or build a network of friends who have your back. You know, it's not a guarantee, it's not a given. If you do get those kinds of friends, and if you get them, you know, you're lucky and should appreciate them. But, you know, when I see these vlogs, like, I realize, you know, not only am I not the only one going through a lot of this stuff, but, you know, it's sort of like, this is really what's going on. And, you know, while we should be willing and able to provide constructive criticism to each other, you know, we also we need to help each other out, you know, at the very least providing moral support. Because a lot of us are struggling, and some of it's, you know, the nature of, like, recent events, some of it's the contemporary society that we, you know, exist in, at least in the West. Some places out there, in many ways, it's like, it's even worse, you know. It's even worse because you may live in a society where there's even more corruption and backstabbing, not necessarily in a political sense, but even just in an interpersonal sense, and, you know, a cornering of the market in terms of wealth, in terms of access to opportunities to form relationships with, let's say, members of the opposite gender, and therefore form a family and do what most guys, you know, on some level want to do. You know, even a lot of the guys who get to sleep around and have, you know, hundreds, if not thousands, of beautiful women, and, you know, with them, you know, so many of them get to the point where they're like, okay, I'm tired of the game, I want to settle down, you know. And yeah, they may have the opportunity to do some more than, you know, your average guy, but still, like, there's still that drive towards that. And a lot of us, I think, struggle with that because we either don't know how to, or we just don't have the opportunity to, learn how to become that guy who can, find or bring about the kind of relationship they want to be in, and as an aspect of the kind of life you want to live. And perhaps by supporting each other, we can sort of build a better future, build a better world where there are far more of us who are just plain and simply happy with our lives, And if you think about having a world full of happy people, if that were even possible, when you're surrounded by people who are happy, it's a heck of a lot easier for you to be happy, especially since folks who, in many ways are overflowing with prosperity in their lives tend to, they want to share that to some extent with others. Maybe that's not necessarily always the case, but it's far more likely, or it's far easier to, if you, especially, you talk about an abundance mentality and that sort of thing. And this is me sort of waxing philosophical and sounding a bit like a hippie, like, hey man, let's go build a happy, perfect world, man. But I think it's probably, I don't want to use the word instructive, but I think it's kind of helpful to have something of that sort of mentality, even if 99% of the time you're really focused in on your own life. But I also think it's a good thing to keep that sort of perspective of okay, you're not the only one struggling. A lot of us are going through some really tough times in our own lives, and we're really confronting certain harsh truths about life and people, human nature. I'm trying to be as nebulous as I can, just because I don't want to cross that line into, oh, this guy's saying dangerous things or whatever. But you grow up as a guy, your teens, into your 20s, into your 30s, and you oftentimes end up having those kinds of experiences in life which make you sort of not only sort of question the meaning and purpose of it all. I had a moment, I had a time about a month and a half ago, with the whole getting fired and that sort of thing, where I was feeling zeroed out. So I essentially was zeroed out, and I was I was literally saying oh, I'm thinking about doing that thing, the permanent solution to a temporary problem. Now, luckily, I didn't go and do that. I decided instead I'm going to reinvent myself. I'm going to rebuild myself. And not only was I in contact with the old boss, and I had a phone interview and that sort of thing, but I decided to take some of the money that I have and spend it on some classes, some certifications. And I'll tell you that getting through that PLC programming certificate course, that felt pretty good. And I felt okay, I'm reinventing myself, I'm bouncing back. And if that's, instructive to anyone, that, they should try and find something like that themselves. Heck, if game programming is a thing, I can send, folks some links to some tutorials on YouTube, the ones that I used to do that sort of thing. And if that helps you, not only it grants you some sort of knowledge or experience, an employable skill, aka software development, but it just sort of shows you that you have the ability to create something from nothing. Because I think that's one of the things that game development has done for me, has been sort of doing that, making something that did not exist before, that is uniquely mine, being able to do that sort of a deal, and showing that, I can really go and do that I have that power to create some sort of dent in reality, a mark in reality, something that wasn't there before. And something as simple as a computer program You know, and creating some pixel art, figuring out how to get that to display on the screen and, you know, interact with it and that sort of deal. So yeah, we're all struggling with something. The choice really is like, I don't want to put it out that there's some other choice. I'd like to believe that the choice really is how you're going to bounce back, not if you're going to. Because like Geza said, you know, like when I talked about, oh, you know, being stoic and that sort of thing, and he was like, well, what are the choices there? You know, what are the choices there? And as such, like I also say, like, you know, I'm of the mindset that the choice is, how are you going to bounce back when you get zeroed out? How are you going to do it? How are you going to bounce back? How are you going to climb back up and build yourself up again, and, you know, get back on your feet, get back on the road, get back on the path, and, you know, march forward to a far better reality, a far better life, a far better existence than the one you left behind. You know, and the one that fell apart, and the one where you got zeroed out. You know, so that's kind of sort of my deep thoughts, if you will. I may just title that sort of thing like deep thoughts with Askesis, you know. But anywho, you know, other than the whole like physique and, you know, all this other stuff that I've been, you know, thinking about, I do have so many sort of health issues that have been dogging me for about, you know, a couple of years. You know, I've said it time and again, I may make a video eventually talking about them. I think I'll only do that, you know, the day that I am able to get in to see a doctor, a dermatologist in particular. And once I've done that, then I'm able to say, okay, here's some concrete sort of stuff. That, and assuming I get, and, you know, the issues I'm having, from what I can tell, this is not like major sort of life-ending sort of stuff. It's like impacting on life quality and, like, you know, dexterity, what I can do, that sort of thing. And maybe I might have to see some other doctors eventually, but other than that, if I get that dip bar set up, I may make some videos where I'm just like, okay, I'm going through the exercises and I'm, you know, recording myself working out, so that maybe that'll be sort of another aspect of this channel that I can, you know, I can utilize that to sort of get myself, you know, going on that. So anyways, I think that's it for now. I'm gonna head back in and continue on my Python course, and maybe I can get that dip bar set up before the sun goes down, or maybe I'll do that tomorrow. We'll see. But anyways, this is it for me for right now. Signing out for now. And I'll see you folks around. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.